What's going on, World Mobile Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here, Fareed. Want to thank you all for tuning in here on another wonderful Saturday with us to talk everything World Mobile. Today, we've got quite the laundry list. And of course, I can't do this by myself. I've got my two wonderful co-hosts. Let me go ahead and introduce the both of them. First and foremost, we've got Rob LLAP. What's going on, Rob?
How's it going?
I can't do that finger thing you do, man. I try. There we go. I think I got it.
Yeah, I saw it. I like it.
How are you, man?
Oh, fat and ugly, but I'm working on it.
Come on, man. Stop playing around. Stop playing around. You look good as ever. Hopefully your back is feeling a little bit better. I know you were having some pains not too long ago.
I torqued something trying to refix a cow fence, a cow panel. And I like to think I'm a big strong guy, but I'm trying to take a piece of metal and another piece of metal that are fixed and force them together. It doesn't work out too well, and things start to freak out on your body when you kind of break them. So I'm doing all right.
I'm happy to hear unfortunate news, but I'm happy to hear that you're doing better. We've got our second co-host, Clover Nodes. Welcome aboard, man. How are you?
Hey, everybody. GM to everyone, but not Rob, I guess.
Yeah, what's going on with that, man? There was a couple of other GMs except for Rob I saw in the comments.
I made a tweet or a post last night that I'm like, this is the stupidest thing. I'm sick of it, and hopefully one day World Mobile realizes it moves past this whole thing. I've never participated in it, and I think somebody needs to stand up against this GM culture. It's disgusting. It's lame. I'm fighting against it, and I'm getting roasted for making comments about it.
I mean, you're going against the grain there. I mean, you're going against the culture. I've never been a GMer, but I tell you, man, I wake up in the mornings and all I see is GMs, from some of the biggest voices here in the space. That said, again, we've got quite a few members here from the community tuning in. We've got Rob from the Cornucopious Gang tuning in, Rob. Hopefully you made it back home. It was a pleasure meeting you in Consensus. Looking forward to seeing you again in Vegas, where I'm going to have my redemption time. I got smoked by Rob. We raced in the Cornucopious game. I came in fourth place, dead last. So I've got some work to do over the next couple of days. I do look forward to having you on a live stream, Rob. I think I've got something scheduled with Josh very soon. We'll be discussing and working something out when it comes to that. So hopefully we can get together, talk about the Cornucopious game and some of the finals you guys got going on there. We've got Shane, we've got Limitless, and already a lot of questions coming in. So guys, we definitely do appreciate that, and ladies as well. I know we typically have Kristen and a few other ladies tuning in. Make sure to go ahead and leave your comments down in the replay or in the chat. We'll try to get to those here in just a moment. There's been quite a bit going on there. Rob, I'm liking the background you got there for the World Mobile Alliance, which has now been rebranded. It used to be the Earth Node Alliance, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that there as well. We've got some pretty big news coming out from, hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly because I botched it the first time, Quentas, in which they'll be partnering with World Mobile. I think that's going to be the highlight for today. We also have Mickey Watkins chilling out in Mozambique, so we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. I think there's a lot of speculation going on. Of course, we do the best that we can with information that we have. And I'm excited to hear what you guys sort of have to say about some of those things there as well. Again, thanks for everybody for tuning in here. We do have a special guest who will be joining us here in about 20 to 30 minutes. That's the gentleman that we spoke about there earlier. Rob and Cal should definitely be aware of who I'm referring to. All right. That said, we are just coming back, or at least I'm just coming back from Consensus taking place in Austin, Texas, where the World Mobile team was in attendance. So I got to hang out with Ryan. I believe he's located in Dubai, originally from South Africa. Got to see and hang out with Charles Barnett. Got to see Emmanuel Gratch. I think that was really sort of the core of the team there. There was Amariah, fellow community ambassador. And that was a really awesome experience. He and I actually sat down, got to shoot a nice little interview. But following that, I mean, again, there's been just so much going on here with World Mobile. So maybe before we jump into, the latest updates, I'd love to give it over to Rob and Cal just to speak a little bit about the World Mobile Alliance, why the rebrand, the inclusion, where you guys see this going, but then also just plug in anything that you guys would like for the community to know. So I'll turn it over to you guys to speak for now, and then I'll prep some of the points here for some of the latter parts of the show.
Cal, you want to go first?
You're good. Go ahead.
Okay.
Over to you, Rob.
So we started the Earth Node Alliance about 2 years ago. It was at Rare in Denver in 2022, and it started at Rare. Chef Theo actually said, "Hey guys, let's try and get some of our Earth Node operator friends together and just have a meetup." Will Reed was there from World Mobile, and so Cal was able to meet Will, and we kind of we decided to show up to this this little gathering. There's 13 folks in total. I think 9 of them were Earth Node operators, or at least had the Earth Node reserved at the time. And we chatted and we got talking. It was Cal and myself and Theo, and then there's a couple other folks that started talking about we should do something. There's nothing going on for the World Mobile community. They do their AMAs and everything else is just kind of hype and chit chat on Twitter. And so we thought, well, let's get something going. Theo and I and Cal had all been doing spaces for various projects already, and we thought we should jump in and try and make something happen here. We had Brian from Hero that he does Cardano over coffee, and so we kind of got this group together and said, we have experience, we're passionate about this, let's make something out of this, and let's find a way for the World Mobile community to connect. And so we're looking at names, and we thought, well, Earth Node Alliance, we're all Earth Node operators. This is cool, and it's going to be a place where we can kind of gather and share ideas and encourage each other technically, because some folks are more technical than others. And we started thinking about it, and almost immediately we said, is this the best name? Should we find something else to do? There's no other groups going at the time, but we're like, well, what happens when air nodes come out? And this is all, everything was speculation at this point. We didn't know what was going. So we decided to stick with Earth Node Alliance, but we realized something might need to happen in the future. And the further we've gotten into it, we get so many questions. I'm not an Earth Node operator, but I support what you guys do. Well, that's it's a misunderstanding because of what's in the name. We've always tried to say we are for the entire World Mobile community. We are for Earth Node operators, Air Node operators, token holders, enthusiasts, fans, people that want to host and install and do different things. We basically were trying to bring everyone in World Mobile together in one place that was outside of the official team. So we started talking about this and realized, well, we should probably consider this rebrand, especially with Air Node starting to go live and people not sure if if this is for them because they don't have an Earth Node. So we talked about it. We went official. We asked World Mobile, can we use your name as the rebrand for the Alliance? Can we use the W for the rebrand? We're not official. We're not sponsored by them. We're not employed by them. We are enthusiasts. We are people that have bought in, invested. We want to be a part of this in whatever way we can, and we found that right now our best reach is with the community. There's still at this point, I mean, there's people making YouTube content. There's people that are making tweets and AI images and things like that, but it's all there's nobody that's really bringing things together the way the Alliance has been able to with everyone that's involved. It's not just myself and Cal. And we thought, well, let's make this to the point where this is representative of the entire World Mobile community. We want to be a place where people can come and participate, where people can come in and get experience and lead and whatever goals and ambitions people have, we want to be able to provide for it, and we've seen it happen. We did meetups last year as the Earth Node Alliance at Rare and at Las Vegas, and we've watched partnerships form, we watched friendships form, we watched people that have been able to just chat online, get together in person, and we're watching cooperatives start and businesses and all sorts of different avenues to further World Mobile. as a unit, but also personally, individually, as a business plan for people. So we've done what we wanted to do as far as the bringing people together, but now it needs to be, people need to understand that this is for the entire community, and there should be no question about it. So that's why we rebranded. If you look at the logo, we use the same font previously. And when I say we, this is all Cal. Cal did all of this. We had the dots in the background they were all purple before, and so we reused those. And then, but you can use the same font, but we incorporated the spacing differently. We threw in the World Mobile W, and then Cal took the World Mobile colors from the logo. If you look at each individual, you got the light orange to kind of the pinkish red, then finishing off with the purple that we reused before. And it's brilliant. It captures who we are as the original, as the alliance from before, the Earth Node Alliance, but it also captures the color scheme and the feel of what World Mobile's doing. And so again, we want to make sure that as we grow this, as World Mobile gets bigger, we are doing things that are capturing the spirit and the essence of World Mobile, taking the community and saying we're walking in step with World Mobile. We're not tied to them. We are walking with them, and trying to do our best to encourage others to come along.
Nicely put. Clover, over to you. Maybe talk a little bit about, what your thoughts are here, the design, etc. I do see a lot of questions coming in from the community. So as soon as you wrap up, we'll pivot to taking some of those questions before we dive into some of the recent announcements about World Mobile. I think you
Gotta
might.
make sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta make sure I unmute myself. So when I was designing this logo, I mean, I essentially wanted to kind of keep it the same, like the previous one, but I wanted to incorporate a little bit of something newer to the logo. So I obviously kept the same dots on the background, but I wanted to also keep the W in the World Mobile as well. So in a way, make it similar to the one before, but again, make it newer and more enticing and more inclusive to everyone. Just like Rob said, with the Alliance, we're trying to make sure everyone is included. And it's funny how the Alliance actually started on a small couch when it was just 4 or 5 of us thinking of an idea and how to make this blossom into something big and special. And the Earth Node Alliance was again born out of an idea. It was just us sitting down on the couch and thinking how we can involve other people and how to make this a bigger and more inclusive community. And I think with this rebrand now, we are actually opening the doors not only for Earth Node operators, but we're also welcoming Air Node operators and everyone that wants to be involved in the alliance. So I think it's a good move on our part, and I welcome everyone who wants to join the alliance. Be a part of the community, join our spaces. We have a Calendly. We used to have Earth Node operators and other projects come frequently, so I welcome everyone that just loves World Mobile to come and join the conversation. I mean, we do it every other Saturday. It's super chill. It's super welcoming, and we're just have like an open mic. And we've had so many cool people stop by. We've had multiple projects. We've had Mickey stop by. Obviously, Manuel is there to support every other weekend. We've had Charles Hoskinson join us once, and he actually announced that he's going to be running. He's going to be running and being a part of the partner program with World Mobile, which is what he announced on our space. And I thought it was crazy, for him to come and support the World Mobile community in that way. I thought that was really, really special. So the alliance is it's growing, and I think down the line it gives the opportunity for a community to be just together and to grow as one. So I think it's definitely going to be a fun one to watch, and we have a lot of different things planned. Me and Rob, we have Rare coming up. We have a booth that we want actually there, so it's going to be fun. We have a ton of things planned, so I don't want to give out too much alpha of what we have planned, but definitely be on the lookout for that.
Solid. Thank you both, gentlemen. As a quick plug, if anybody wants to join the Alliance, the official link or the official website, and you guys may have to actually update this, it's earthnodealliance.io. There is a join button, and here we've got some of the existing members. Again, Theo, Rob, Nick, Cal, BB, these are all community members, extremely well known here. And then we've got the list of additional members. So as you guys can see, I mean, this community stays extremely strong. If you guys want to join the World Mobile Alliance, make sure to go and check out the official website there.
And
okay.
if I could jump in real quick with that, just, you know, we actually have our friend Friezo from Wave Nodes in the Netherlands bought us worldmobilealliance.io and sent me the transfer rights for it. So we'll be merging the two websites together. Haven't started working on that yet, but then part of the plan too is we want to, and I've talked with Manny about this. We want to make sure that folks know, you know, who's who. So that's why we have the links there with pictures, with names, with brands, with, you know, you click on, there's hyperlinks embedded in all those logos and pictures to either your website or your X account. But one of the things that we want to do too, because we have a lot of folks that have been named ambassadors, and some people have said, hey, I want to be a collaborator, but I don't know what I can do. And so we're actually going to change how that looks there. And I'll have to talk to every ambassador individually, but eventually we're going to put, we'll have different things for the World Mobile ambassadors for, you know, and we'll have the different titles. If you look there on the website, you'll see like Earth Node operator, Air Node operator, holder, that kind of a thing. We'll be doing that for everybody. People will be able to update their accounts. You know, we can change the links and everything, the photos, the descriptions. But we also want to start getting the World Mobile team on there, you know, for people who to follow, not just our own branding and things like that, but the people that are you're responsible for World Mobile. You know, hey, who should we follow? Because a lot of times some of that isn't listed on their website. But if they're okay with us putting a link on ours, we absolutely will. So we want to make sure that you're able to go here. And the whole thing is about connectivity. We're not paid for this. We don't charge for any of it. It's just simply we want people to know who's who, so that way we can better connect.
Awesome. Again, a lot of support coming in from the community surrounding the rebrand. I do see Amariah, our guest backstage. Amariah, give me the thumbs up. There is a private chat there on the right hand side if you're ready to come up. I just want to make sure that you're good. But yeah, we'll bring him up here. I got the pleasure of meeting him, also a fellow World Mobile ambassador. Very, very energetic to say the least. You guys will be seeing my interview with him coming out very, very soon. So it looks like he might be ready. I'll go ahead and bring him up for today's show. Amariah, welcome aboard.
Hey, what is going on? The World Mobile Alliance.
Yeah, not
Rob,
much, man.
We're better connected. I love how you put that. And yeah, man, excited to be an ambassador. Excited to be in Reno. Was excited to hang out with DAP Central himself in Austin, Texas at Consensus 2024 and spend time with the team. And I don't know. I guess I'm kind of always excited.
Yeah, I mean, so we're going to dive into that. There's actually a couple of questions that have already come in surrounding that, and one of them surrounding how World Mobile was perceived. So no better person to answer that than I think yourself, right? So you introduced me to Charles there, Ryan, and Emmanuel. There was like a whole DePIN area. So maybe just backing up a little bit, right? Attending Consensus, there was the main building where you had, I want to say, over 300 to 400 projects. That was like the main show floor. Now, in addition to that, they had another separate venue dealing specifically with DePIN projects. And so obviously World Mobile and that whole crew was like hanging out at that particular area. So I actually got to meet Amariah. We shot some content at the main venue, and then we migrated over to the DePIN area where we were able to see the rest of the World Mobile community, in addition to competitors, but then also, you know, other just DePIN projects that weren't necessarily in competition. So I know for sure the Helium crew was out there. There were a few other sort of DePIN telecom projects there as well. But let's jump into this particular question here. And then Amariah, I want to kick this one over to you. I'll probably start this one off, but let's see if I can pull this back up here. Of course, let's see. I did not save that one. Give me just a second here. There it is. Perfect. So this is coming in here from Zero fix. How did the Ethereum community react to conversations about World Mobile at Consensus? Was there some familiarity? Again, for me, in the conversations that I had, a lot of the conversations weren't about the chain that people were on. It was more or less about the actual protocol or the projects themselves. Now, I did meet a lot of ETH-based people. A lot of them that I met were dealing with DeFi lending and borrowing. I didn't necessarily meet anybody who was in the DePIN space, but overall, the conversations that I had where I sort of mentioned or talked about World Mobile was very well received. I was actually sitting right next to Ryan, and he was speaking to a couple of other people outside of the ecosystem, and they were very interested, asking a lot of really in-depth questions, a lot of things that for us as insiders, we sort of take for granted, but for people that are outside the ecosystem that are getting exposure for the first time, they were valid questions. And so I would say, in my opinion, everything was well received. But Amber Rai, I think, had a much closer sort of tie to the team. So I do want to kick this one over to you to kind of get your perspective as to how World Mobile was received at Consensus.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. And I think you're spot on. First of all, Clover, good to see you, as always. My man over there holding it down. And then I want to give a shout out to Island Ghost Stephanie as well in the chat. Just kind of been connecting a little bit with her, so I finally get a face to the name. And I don't know what I spelled wrong, but apparently something was misspelled somewhere. Man, it was interesting. I'll tell you what. One, I hadn't planned on being at Consensus at all. Last minute, literally 2 days before the event, Rare Evo on their Discord general chat said, "Hey, we've got a ticket. Can anybody get a plane and get out there?" And I was like, "Hey," checked in with my CFO. "Hey, babe, can I get a plane and get a ticket to get out there?" She said, "Sure, go for it." And so I ended up at Consensus, landed with my buddy Charles, our chief business officer, who's around Reno a lot. We've become friends, and so got to hang out with him, and then Emmanuel and Ryan and the team. So there was Consensus, which was this big convention, massive event. But outside of Consensus, as you know, Farid, is we were at a lot of other events. We would call them satellite events, right? And so I think this was really the focus for World Mobile, as DePIN in particular had a host of events over the 3 days that we were there that were focused on DePIN conversations, companies connecting, communities connecting, and discussing what's going on. And there's a lot, by the way, going on in the DePIN universe out there. There's just a lot of different projects trying to take control of this physical infrastructure and put it into the hands of the community. And so I think that's where a lot of the power was. The floor was great. It was great to talk to projects and meet people. I would say that World Mobile wasn't as well known there. However, because I was wearing my World Mobile gear and the shirt, people that did know us were so excited, and so they would come to me. And I'm a humble ambassador, so I've been really working hard and diving in deep into World Mobile and what we're doing for a few months now. To be honest, of course, I've always known of World Mobile and had a general idea, but really getting into what we do, it's only been a couple of months for me. But then being able to make some really important connections with some of the other members of the team there, when I saw that kind of value, was amazing. And it was just great to have conversations. And people have been like, "Man, I've been on World Mobile since the start because of what you guys are doing." And there was a Helium crew, like they were like, "Oh, World Mobile, Helium." There's some kind of a connection there. But the exciting thing about World Mobile is I think we're just really building, and we're building strong. And I think we have a purpose, a focus. We've proved ourselves in ways that now a lot of people, don't see even in this like telecoms DePIN space right now. I don't know enough about Helium to speak on it from any professional standpoint at all. But from what I do understand, they've reached a place where they're kind of at, and they've decided kind of what we were doing. We're, as you see, with Argentina and with just all these different things that we're doing in Cardano and in the greater DePIN space, we're still making it up as we go along. In that we are evolving, we will pivot quickly. A lot of things are going to happen over the next few months that you'll see. We're going to take advantage of all the opportunities we have. So there was an excitement around what we were talking about, and there was an aspect of like getting people some information on who we are and what we're really doing. I think once people started latching onto that event that you and I went to, there were people coming up to me like, "How can we get involved? I got a guy in New Jersey. He wants to know, I got this person over here. It's paying too much for their service, and they're not able to run more than 25 megabytes per second." And so it was exciting to be honest, and then just to see the team kind of connect with people and network was high level, like far beyond my capacity. But I had fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely had fun myself as well, and I think for me, being at one of those events, you were really able to sort of lay back and not be so business-y, if that's a word, right? One thing I noticed is the huge contrast between how communities interact on Twitter versus how they interact in person. I mean, I met so many people outside of Cardano, and I didn't have a single bad thing to say about anybody that met out there, and everybody was just so friendly and welcoming. And so again, for me as a creator, constantly being online and seeing how Cardano and projects from Cardano are perceived at times, that there was a big contrast between what it was like actually in person, right? Where people were a lot more open, a lot more friendly, a lot more receiving, of people from a different ecosystem. So I'm looking forward to definitely doing it again. I know the next one's going to be in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll have an opportunity to catch up and hang out in Rare in Vegas. Okay, we've got a couple more questions, and I mean, they're stacking up here. So let's quickly try to just work through some of these. Another one coming in here from Good. When are you going to be able to stake on the WMT app? I'd like to turn this one over to anybody here who's got more information than I do. I know that this has been a pretty frequent question that we've had, and I think we had Manny potentially tackle this one before. So any commentary from Rob or Clover here?
I'll jump in real quick. First of all, welcome CB. Welcome to the show. It's really good to see you. I'm glad you had fun at Consensus, and I'm excited to see that interview you had with Fareed. I hear it's super fun. So drop it whenever it's available. For people that don't know, me and CB met a very interesting way. Actually, CB is my AirNode host up in Reno. So that's super, super exciting. And I'm very fortunate to have him as a host. So excited for that. And to answer a good question, when are you going to be able to stake on the WMT app? So at the moment, you're able to obviously stake from the World Mobile Vault. However, World Mobile is making a dedicated website that you will be able to stake from. I believe the domain on that's going to be called worldmobile.net. It's currently on the roadmap and it's being made right now and it's in development. This is a place where everyone's going to stake their WMT, where EarthNode operators are going to be logged into. AirNode operators are going to be able to go in there and check their profits and how their AirNodes are performing. Just a central place where you can do it all from. Instead of the current vault, by the way, which was created a long, long time ago. Actually, even before when Cardano had staking, actually not staking, I apologize about that. Before Cardano had smart contracts. And this is the reason why we're not able to claim automatically on the vault, my apologies. And we have to wait for a manual distribution on it. That's the reason why. However, I believe there also will be staking directly from the WMT app. I hear that's also in development, so stay tuned for that. But we haven't had any announcements exactly on when that's going to happen. I assume that they probably want to release the iOS app first and all of that, and then that's when we'll start seeing all of these other things come out.
Thank you, Clover. A follow-up question from the same member here. Good. When will we be able to swap out points for tokens, and how much are points worth in dollars amounts? This has been a question that's been swirling around for quite a bit. Good. I don't think that the team has given us any specifics, and I'm not actually sure that they've confirmed that we can actually swap out the points for tokens either. So again, there's a lot of speculation, but we don't have any official announcements. Definitely make sure to follow the official World Mobile channels in order to get that information. And if you're not already in the Discord, make sure to jump in there. The team can actually give you some more specific feedback surrounding that particular topic. We've got an additional question coming here from James Watson. Do you have any info on when the air nodes will go live in Reno? So as CB is a host and Clover here, they've got their air node. Any updates you guys have received from the team about, when they're going to be going live? I think they might actually be live, if I'm not mistaken.
Clover, you got anything on this?
Soon. I haven't gotten an email I haven't gotten an email. I'm waiting for that email, and I hope it happens this month. I don't have an exact date to be honest with you, but I know that there's things happening up in Reno right now. They're prepping for batch number 2 to go live. So if I can guesstimate, I would most likely say that are going to see the first batch come online in June. But then again, don't take my word for it. That's just my personal opinion, just from the facts and the updates I've seen from the team and from Christian, who's up in Reno, and all of the other notes that he's been posting. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna start seeing it in June.
Cool.
All
Okay, I
right.
could speak on it a little bit, real quick. First of all, I just want to say, Kristen Bowman, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. We are excited to meet you in Vegas as well. I'll be there on behalf of the Bees Hive NFT project that I just was made a part founder of. They just gave me a little equity in that project for just being a good community manager. So, hey, I'm leveling up here. More mobile Bees Hive. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting things coming, and I'll be honest with you. I'm here in Reno, talking to a lot of the people on the team. Not able to say exactly everything that's coming, like as far as specific times and whatnot. I think your guess at this month is a good guess. There is a batch 2 coming, and also I think you'll see in the next week, next few weeks, some other announcements coming and some exciting updates. And I think you'll be excited. So I can't give an exact timeline on when the air nodes will go live. I will say that we have a monthly meetup that we're doing here in Reno now, where we get to meet all the people that come through the warehouse, which is where World Mobile has their all their nodes and their titans and their offices. And we're doing that once a month. So that's coming up in a few weeks. I expect by that time to be some things happening. So very exciting times for Reno in general.
Perfect. James is still around here. So yeah, James, hopefully that gives you a little bit of clarity. He's stating, thank you. I bought one in batch 1. Curious as to when I can see what the one I bought was actually doing or is actually doing. Let's take a couple more of these and then we'll jump into the main highlight, which is the Quentas partnership. So this is coming in here from Seth Shepard. Want to just say welcome to the Cardano community. You may have stumbled across the channel. There's a few other solid content creators here in the space, but we're more than happy to help you get onboarded and to sort of find your way around the ecosystem. You're interested in developing on Cardano. I'll be dropping a link in the chat here for you in just a moment with a couple of resources you can follow up on if you want to get more immersed here with the developers and connect with other fellow Cardano community members. We've got Lord here in the house, fellow OG supporter. Appreciate you tuning in as always. Any word on the Amplified partnership? Messed up my vault trying to onboard with them. Lord, I'm not sure if there's any more details you can share with us, but I have been contacted by the Amplify team, but I'll be honest, I don't think I feel comfortable enough to be able to speak about them. Rob Clover or Amariah, any one of you guys feel comfortable talking about Amplify and then potentially trying to address this question here?
Well, I am also not comfortable speaking about Amplify, and the reason why is because I'm not quite sure how exactly their model works, but this is why we have them invited on the World Mobiles Alliance space next weekend. And if everything lines up and if they're free, I welcome the entire community to come by and ask their questions. And the reason why we wanted to invite them is just because of that. I mean, I don't understand exactly how their model works, and I would like to find out, just because obviously they're an Earth node operator and everything they're doing sounds very, very exciting. I know there were one of the first ones, or actually the first ones, who bought the Titan up in Reno. And from my understanding, and again, I don't want to speak on it too much just because I don't clearly understand it, you lock your WMT in a smart contract, and instead of receiving WMT rewards, you are getting the rewards from that Titan or whichever air node they purchase in the future with. So, Lord, I know you had a problem with their vault, so I would probably go ahead and reach out to them directly, or come on our space and ask them when they're there. And I'm sure someone from there will help you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This next one's an interesting one. I'd love to maybe pass this one around here, but this is coming in from Seth again, new member to the community. Will this project help reduce poverty worldwide? I'll take a first shot, and then I'd love to hear from Rob on this one. I feel like you probably smashed this one out the park. I definitely think so, but it's coming from a different sort of angle, right? So obviously, there's a lot of countries where people are unconnected, and the goal of World Mobile is to connect the unconnected. But what I see here is they're leveling the playing field in terms of giving everybody a fair opportunity. And so, as a creator myself, where I do a lot of stuff online, I couldn't imagine a world where I don't have the internet and I'm trying to do what I do. It's just not possible. It's not feasible, right? So, imagine how many people are out there that have the same skills or the same desires that creators have in other countries where they do have stable internet connections, where they've got accessibility to all these different tools and features online that people that aren't connected don't have the ability to use or to leverage, right? So I think for me, it's going to be leveraging or equalizing the playing field here, for lack of better words. But through that process, right, there's going to be new opportunities where people can become their own brand, where they can monetize, and that in itself will hopefully reduce poverty worldwide. So I think, again, it's not like World Mobile's mission is to reduce poverty, but through leveling the playing field, that's going to create opportunities in itself, which people, if they capitalize on those, I think could basically take themselves out of poverty. So Rob, what are your thoughts surrounding this particular one here?
Well, I would just look at it from the perspective of, when you pay for your cell phone right now, who's getting rich off of it? Verizon is, AT&T is, these different companies that they hire the staff, they put all the infrastructure up, and they get all the rewards, and then they can start to raise prices, and they can start to pocket more money, even though they're not increasing their infrastructure. Eventually, World Mobile's coming in to destroy that model, to say, no, we're going to let the people own the infrastructure. We're going to let the people have the ability to take the lion's share of that, because they're the ones that are buying the infrastructure. Other people are the ones that are hosting it, so they get a portion of it as well. And that's how you take power away from these big corporations, is you provide a model that they've already talked about, and we'll talk about it here when you talk about Quentas. Buying those SIMs and connecting with different countries 12 times cheaper than what the traditional companies provide. You can save money. You can put money back in people's hands who are providing the infrastructure, providing the location to host these things. So as World Mobile does this, it's going to incentivize more people to participate. The other thing, and I've mentioned this a couple times in the past, and the word I use is, I think this is appropriate, but you always hear, people talk, and some people have very strong feelings about colonialism or setting up different I don't know, empire, your empire building, where you have your country, but then you satellite elsewhere. You take their resources from them. You strip mine their company. You take everything back to your kingdom. And some people have some very strong feelings about that, and it's becoming something that people are really pushing back against. What happens if a big corporation goes into a place like Zanzibar, like Mozambique, like Kenya, and it says, "Hey, we'll bring you good internet. Pay us." Okay, that money eventually is getting filtered back to the corporate heads, to the big business, to the investors, and while it might create some jobs, it's going to take money out of that country for the most part, and very little bit will stay in there. With World Mobile's model, if people have a house, even if they're renting the house, they're renting the apartment, they're renting the structure, the business location, they can be the ones that will host these air nodes. Others can buy them, and the money goes where the people are investing or willing to participate in it. And we've talked about this in Zanzibar right now. The top 10 paying nodes are paying about 50% of the median monthly income for Zanzibar. And so, by you being, and this is for the people that are hosting it, not the people that are owning it. And so if you're able to say, "Hey, I have a location, I want to participate," you are now creating a job for yourself. You're creating opportunities for yourself that otherwise would have gone to some big business, putting up some big $2 million tower somewhere and then taking all that profit away. So even though people are paying for cell phones there, the money is staying in those communities. The opportunities are there. Look what they're doing in Reno right now. And MRI, you can attest to this. You're wearing the shirt right now, internet that pays you back. Right now, World Mobile has built in a hosting community, and they're gonna have more people signing up to be a host in Reno than they're gonna need air nodes for very, very quickly, because people say, hey, if I can get my internet paid for just by putting this thing on my house, if I can get my cell phone bills paid for, if I can make a little extra money, $50, $100 a month, that's gas money. That's coffee money. On top of having the internet and everything else paid for. And people are going to flock to that and say, I can do this. I can participate in this. I can host it. I don't have to go buy a $20,000 or $100,000 air node. I can just provide consistent power. And so you start to see that on a global scale, where people who are living there are the ones that are putting in the effort, and they're reaping the rewards of it. And a small portion of it is going back to World Mobile for the network. A portion of it is going back to the investors for buying in. But the money is staying in the community. It's providing jobs. It's providing opportunity, and it's keeping resources where it needs to be, so people can collect those resources, spend them back, invest in their local shops or local communities. And so what you're doing here is you're encouraging people to, with some assistance, pick themselves up, carry themselves, provide for themselves, and you're providing opportunity as opposed to giving them something but taking a whole bunch away from it. That's what I think is so great about what World Mobile is doing on the global scale. And I think that's how they're going to solve, at least for this sector, this portion, the sharing economy is going to solve some key issues with poverty.
Thank
I
you,
think
Rob.
that's a great answer, Rob. And I'll be honest, I've watched a few of these. I really love hearing you speak when it comes to a topic like this, of like what difference is World Mobile going to make with what they're building and what they're doing. And I saw a comment about how in a fishing village they literally did reduce in some ways. They created a new and updated economy for fishermen, so they didn't have to smoke their fish in order to keep it. They could actually send pictures and sell their fish fresher to potential buyers. That was just one of many benefits of what World Mobile did out there, and that's how they initially at least proved their model somewhat. So I love what you're saying, and I know that here in Reno there's a buzz. I know that here in Reno we're starting to figure out and understand what this World Mobile thing is and seeing what it can be for our city, but it's much bigger than that. We're going to prove our model here. We're going to focus here. We're going to knock it out of the park, as you said. When people at Consensus asked me what was World Mobile, I said, basically, we're taking the power out of the big hands of the big interests and we're handing it back to the people. We're empowering people to become part of a system that everybody can benefit from being involved in, whether it's from a purchasing standpoint and it's half the price of what your current telecoms is, or it's from an investment standpoint or a host standpoint. So there's just a lot of entry points, and we're building an entire ecosystem. And I don't know, it reminds me of like Ralph Breaks the Internet, right? Where there's just a giant shift in the way that things are normally done. And all of a sudden we see there's a new way to do things. And for me, when I hear Mickey speak, Mr. Telecoms, about this, when I see these videos like the one I saw at Consensus, which was phenomenal, videos that I've seen that are coming out very soon that you will all see, people talking about what's going on here in Reno. It's just an exciting time. So I would say for all those that are looking for like when will this happen, when will that happen, I think one will see a lot of things happen very, very soon here. A little bit of patience, and the World Mobile team will continue to do what they've always done. That's deliver and grow and keep going. I actually have to take off because I've got some responsibilities, but I was invited to jump in for a minute on such a famous stream, such an important place where we get to talk about this amazing company and this amazing movement. So I appreciate you guys having me, and I want to come back because Reno's got some stuff coming. So
Yeah,
I would love to come back.
You're more than welcome to jump back on here, and the viewership's jumped up since you jumped in here. So I'm not sure what it is, but we got to get you back on here. Again, thank you so much for all that you do for World Mobile. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time here. And again, we look forward to speaking with you soon.
Hey,
Cheers
and
for
I
now.
understand real quick that there's a lot going on in Cardano right now. And I misspoke, by the way. I meant to say in Africa, but I said in Argentina because Cardano in Argentina, they made a deal, and then you see Mr. Telecoms is standing with the leadership of Africa. I mean, there's a lot going on, so I know why my video is not live right now, because every time you turn around to like edit and get that thing out there, even though it doesn't take much editing because it's so good, you did such a good job. There's like some big thing, like another big thing is happening, but that's exciting, and that's the great thing about this space is there's dynamic.
I mean,
so
there is not a lack of updates to report on, and so yeah, for me, I've been trying to figure out how to best spend my time, but I promise you I will get that interview out very soon.
No
Again,
worries.
CB, thank you for joining us. We'll catch up soon. Take care.
All right, team.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, I really enjoy having the guests on. I know Jeff was our last guest before CB. Again, guys, if you guys are watching, if you guys are part of the World Mobile Alliance, you're just an AirNode host, whatever the case is, you could reach out to me. My emails are typically in the descriptions of these videos and these live streams, or feel free to reach out to Clover and Rob. We'd be more than happy to host you guys here on the channel as guests. That said, there's just a lot more questions coming in here, some from Carlo about potential partnerships, but let's actually get to the meat of today's video or today's live stream. Otherwise, we'll probably take questions throughout the entire hour and a half that we're here. So Quentas, this came up, I want to say about 3 or 4 days ago, right? I was just scrolling around, and I think Clover was actually one of the first ones to break this one. So somehow Clover saw the Yahoo News article, but World Mobile is officially partnered up with Quentas. So they've got a pretty big stake when it comes to the Latin American or the Hispanic community. And it looks like they provide technological services, some of those being related to telecommunications, which is very similar to obviously with what World Mobile is doing. And so Rob, or maybe even Clover, I know we've got some notes earlier from Manny to talk a little bit about this, but would either one of you feel comfortable sort of driving the conversation here? And then I'd love to maybe just speculate a little bit about how you guys see this partnership expanding. Maybe I'll turn it over to Clover first, and then Rob will come over to you second.
Trying to find my unmute button real quick. It's funny. I actually found this information on Telegram. Someone posted it on Telegram, and I quickly went and Googled it just so I can verify its source. And I found the article on Yahoo, and I was like, wow, that is incredible. It's funny how you can put a keyword logger to track whenever World Mobile drops any news, and then you can like kind of get those news served to you before they actually are announced by the projects themselves. But yeah, I mean, one of World Mobile's objectives is obviously to provide more affordable internet solutions to consumers, right? I mean, according to the announcement, we saw Quentas provide financial services to the underserved Latin communities with like over 30,000 retail stores. I mean, ask yourself this question now. What better way to integrate more reliable, more reliable and affordable network through an already established and existing market than what World Mobile is offering? I mean, to me, that's like a match made in heaven. Like, honestly, those two together, it's perfect. It's a real problem solver. This partnership. On one hand, you get a bunch of underserved people who don't have access to financial resources and services, but providing them with dire financial needs. And on the other hand, you give them connectivity you badly need, right, to get these financial services. I would really be paying attention to this partnership if I was you. I mean, not to mention the power of retail with these 30,000 locations and the potential of basically having all of these stores host AirNode infrastructure, as well as to provide World Mobile services and sell global eSIMs or travel eSIMs or whatever that might be. It's going to be really, really bullish. So I'm really excited to learn more about this partnership.
Yeah, same here. I think for me, before I turn it over to Rob, one thing I realized that World Mobile has done extremely well is take advantage of existing infrastructure and existing platforms and leveraging that, or sort of molding that to fit what we're offering, right? So I take a look. I think and Rob, you can speak on this probably a little bit better than I could. There was a ISP, I want to say it was in Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. And World Mobile has basically said, hey, we'd love to sort of work with you guys and take advantage of all the infrastructure you guys have already laid out and basically just attach what we do on top of that, right? Again, I think from a cost saving perspective, that's huge. But then also from a time saving perspective, that's also huge, right? You could also imagine from a regulatory standpoint, World Mobile doesn't have to sit around and try to figure all of this stuff out. They can basically come on board and take advantage of what's already being built there. So to see them taking the same exact approach with Quentas, I'm like, okay, this is actually a really smart move. They don't have to come in here and try to pitch to a new community. The community is already there. They've already built trust with Quentas, and therefore World Mobile sort of, riding on the relationship that Quentas already has with this community. Now, one thing that I would love to maybe speculate on about this here is, where do you guys see this rollout initially starting off? Because that's one thing that we haven't heard anything about. Now, what we have heard internally from the team is that this will be done through some sort of phased pilot program, right? So maybe they pick one particular state, one particular city, they educate people as to how to operate the air nodes, and then just kind of take their hands off and let, the community sort of run and dictate itself, like we've seen done in Pakistan. So those are just a couple of my thoughts. Again, I think this was a really solid strategic move. Rob, I'd love to hear what your take is on this.
So they're saying that they have 30,000 bodegas, right? Bodegas, small shops, maybe kiosks, small locations here and there, stands with inside bigger retailers. So getting involved there, it's, I think, going to do a number of things. One, like Cal mentioned, getting those eSIMs in place and selling them, because those eSIMs are going to work in several countries. One thing we know about our friends in the Latino community are, a lot of them travel quite a bit. I have some friends that are here in my state, that they make trips back to Central America a couple times a year. They go down, they come back. They work, they save up, they have vacation, they go back. They're very transitory as far as traveling back and forth. So the opportunity to be able to travel and do that, go back and forth with eSIMs is big. They travel a lot more than I do. I think I go to Vegas every year for Rare or for a Cardano thing, and that's about it. So the ability to have those eSIMs is big, especially when we start to establish at the mobile network here in the United States. Now you have a travel eSIM, but you also are going to have built-in customers at this point, because they like the freedom that they have and the ability to do this with World Mobile. 30,000 shops, 30,000 locations. You put a small air node on there. You put a 180. You put even one of the smaller ones that will be coming out in batch 2. You put an air node on those shops. Now you got coverage inside the kiosk, inside the store, at the location, right? So there's potentially some opportunities there, because they're not going to be buying them all themselves. They might want to work with folks. They might say, we'll be the host and we'll profit off this a little bit, but we'll also let people buy in and purchase the stuff for us, like we're doing in Reno. There's potentially some opportunities there. The other thing is, and I could be completely wrong here, but I was trying to do some research on Quentas, and it looked like those 30,000 plus bodegas that they have, it appears that those are in 3 states: New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. I could be wrong, but that's when I saw an article, and that's what it said, was that's where they're located right now, up in the Northeast. Okay. We don't even have licensed spectrum up there right now.
I hate to interrupt. If you have the link to that, if you don't mind sharing in the private chat, that'd be great. Thank you.
I'll try to find it. I saw it 2 days ago, and I was like, that's interesting. But if that's true, and they're just in those 3 states, it's ripe for expansion. But obviously, there's no licensed spectrum in those states just yet. So what does that tell you? Why would World Mobile, other than just trying to sell eSIMs, right? That could be lucrative. Why would they be partnering with somebody who's in states they don't have spectrum in? Because they're going to get it, because they're going to expand, because they want to really, really push and go where the clients are, go where the need is at. So they're again, if that's the case, if I'm right in saying this, and I want to preface that, if they are looking ahead, they are. That's why this pilot program is probably going to be a slower rollout. It's not going to be happening next month for everything. they're going to figure out what they can do, how they can insert themselves, how they can work with this. And then as they grow this spectrum, as they grow their mobile network, you're talking tens of thousands of air nodes just in the shops. You're talking about people who are now customers. So you're going to be getting more traction, more monthly income. It's going to benefit World Mobile on multiple fronts. And then people are going to have the opportunity, like in Reno, to put air nodes up at their locations, at their businesses, at their houses, at their apartment buildings. So this is a built-in audience of people who tend to travel a little bit more, have a bit more, if nothing else, long distance calling. They're going to want to call worldwide using these devices in order to talk to family and friends if they're not in the same country. You know, I think there's so many opportunities here with this. And again, this is from speculation. This is from the article that Cal found, a couple other things that we're trying to figure out ourselves. World Mobile has not come out and announce all this yet. But the one thing they did, they sent a little document out to us for the show. And just the first paragraph, what is Quentas? Quentas Inc. is a financial technology company providing comprehensive financial services for underserved communities. Their platform offers digital banking, mobile banking, prepaid debit cards, and remittance services, aiming to enable financial inclusion for the unbanked and underbanked, granting them access to essential financial services. Okay, now they've just partnered with a company that's doing a very similar thing with a digital economy, with a Web3 economy. And so now you're going to be able to onboard people into crypto. You're going to be onboard people into your telecoms company. You're going to find ways to send money a lot cheaper than Western Union does. You're going to find ways to bank when perhaps people don't qualify for bank accounts based on national laws. Ways to, if they're doing financial services, and again, we have Bitcoin machines, right? This is just me thinking right now off the top of my head. I've, again, not heard a thing, but we have Bitcoin machines. What do people do? They go take their money, they drop them in there, they pay a huge fee, but they're getting Bitcoin. They can send Bitcoin to wallets. Okay. What happens now if you can go to these Quentas bodegas, these kiosks, these locations, and you drop $100 in and you are buying IA token, WMTX. You are paying your cell phone bill and you're uploading those onto your account with cash from your job because you don't have a bank account. So now they're trying to find ways to onboard people as customers of World Mobile through the services that Quentas offers. And now it's just, I mean, there's so many potential synergies here. And again, I can be completely off on all of this stuff, but this is stuff that's just coming to my head as we're thinking through this. I mean, there's some opportunities here. I want to say hi to my friend James there, Ada Mint. Nice to see you, James.
Thank you for tuning in there, James. Always good to have you there. And you raised some really solid points. And as you were speaking there, Rob, I think I was able to track down some intel here. So I'm not sure if this is the same exact article you'd reviewed, but definitely let me know. So this piece here, released from PR Newswire, states, Quentas is a minority shareholder in Quentas SDI, which has over 31,000 convenience stores or bodegas in its network with locations across the New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut tri-state area. Quentas has been seeking a new partner to acquire the outstanding 80% and invest in the expansion and innovation around SDI. So obviously, not everything pertains to World Mobile there, but I think that key piece there was New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, which, as you correctly mentioned there, Rob, at least to my knowledge, there's nothing there yet, right? But if they're working with them there, could that be where we go next? I definitely think at this point, yeah, it doesn't make any sense for them to try to establish something new anywhere else if they've already got 31,000 bodegas in that area. So again, I'd love to hear what the official statement says from the team, but it seems like this was going to be where the next sort of rollout within the US is going to be if it hasn't already started, right? And just sort of behind the scenes. That said, I mean, any sort of thoughts, things that you guys want to talk about when it comes to Quentas? If not, I want to jump into a little bit of speculation. I know Mickey's currently in Mozambique, and there's also been talks about June being a pretty big month with a lot of different sort of things that could potentially come down the pipes. So I'd love to jump into that there as well.
I just real quick with the Quentas stuff again. I think that there's some huge opportunity here. And I think that as you mentioned, we talked about adaptive broadband in Oregon as somebody who's a broadband company that is going to utilize World Mobile. World Mobile's partnering with existing services. We're seeing that. We're seeing that in Pakistan with World Call. We're seeing that with other things that are starting to make light. They're finding other companies, and this is, I always used to joke. In crypto, and we have all these different. Here's the fluffy tiger NFT, and here's the ape NFT, and here's the dolphin NFT, and hey, we're all partners now. We're partnering together, and I used to joke, hey, my stake pool Trek is partnering with Walmart. Here's how it works. Any of my delegators can go to Walmart, pick items out, and then pay for them. Partnership, right? You get something from Walmart, but you have to pay for it. The word partnership is thrown out so repeatedly, and it doesn't make sense. These aren't partnerships. You guys are high-fiving each other. That's all you're doing. World Mobile is finding partners. They're finding people that are established in their respective arenas, and they are making things work that is mutually beneficial, and they're expanding their reach. And as you see, as other companies see this, I want a part of that. We were told recently, I think there's a list of like 31 countries that are on a waiting list right now. I think they said 31 waiting list to be able to talk to World Mobile about services. Like, they're seeing it, and with Mickey being in Mozambique and dealing with this on a national level, I mean, people are screaming that you're going to start. Hey, is it first come first serve, or is it who's going to the highest bidder? Usually it's you have to pay the government off to get what you want. Who knows? It might be the other way around at some point if people are screaming for it because World Mobile's doing so much. So they're picking strategic partners. They're picking strategic locations, and they are future proofing everything they're doing. It's very, very impressive.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really great segue into discussing Mickey. As you mentioned, he's currently hanging out there in Mozambique. Now, I'm trying my best. I'm scrolling through my long Twitter feed to find a piece where somebody had tried to like put two and two together, right? I think there was some talks about some price gouging or something like that going on in Mozambique, and the fact that like World Mobile could be a potential solution. If either one of you feel comfortable sort of taking the lead here, I'll try to see if I can find a little bit more information. But there hasn't been an official statement as to what this is actually about, right? So I'd love to also hear what your guys' thoughts are on that. Clover, you want to take a shot here, and then we'll go to Rob. If not, maybe Rob, you can take the lead on this one.
Yeah, so I don't obviously know much about this picture right here. All I know is a bunch of speculation that has been going around. We know that Mickey has been traveling a lot, and from people Googling the faces of these folks that you see on there, they have discovered that he's actually in Mozambique at the moment. And honestly, we can sit here and speculate, right, as to what is happening here. But from my understanding, when I look at this picture, these are people that are highly involved in the government, on the government level. So if I can take a wild guess as to what's happening, then this has to do something on the big level of deployment in Mozambique, right? So this person that you see on the picture right there, that is circled with a little arrow pointing on his head, he's there pretty high up in the government. I mean, you had it on the previous slide. Is the Minister of Transportation and Communications for Mozambique, right? That's what it says on that title. So for Mickey to be sitting there with Alan Omnet and to be meeting with these people, something pretty big is happening. And we already know that there is an aerostat launched in Mozambique, and we know that World Mobile has a partnership with Vodafone that's being utilized to backhaul this big aerostat. So if we're able to see them fully launch in Mozambique, that would be absolutely incredible and amazing. And the opportunity in Mozambique it's wild. I think there is over 100 million people that live in Mozambique, and most of the parts in Mozambique are absolutely unconnected a lot of these people are underserved, just like the communities that Quenta is going after. It is the same exact thing in Mozambique. So I think Mickey being there it's very strategic. It's definitely planned, and I'm really looking forward to learning more as to what he's doing there.
Yeah, nicely said. And I want to give a shout out here to the World Mobile community, right, for always being so investigative, but a huge shout out here to Hydrex. So this is actually coming in from Hydrex, and I was able to find a little bit of this. Again, so in addition to what we just took a look at, where there was the Minister of Transport there standing next to Mickey, there was a recent article released around the same time with the headline stating, in Mozambique, protests over telecom costs suspended but not revoked. So obviously, a lot of people are upset with how telecoms currently operate in Mozambique. As you just mentioned, Clover, the door's already been busted wide open with Mozambique with the Aerostat. So it's not like we're starting from scratch here. There's already a sense of friendship, a sense of partnership, and a sense of understanding with what World Mobile can offer. And if this can now expand outside of the Aerostat into deeper integrations, I feel like this could be extremely huge here, not just for World Mobile, but for other countries nearby that are also watching to see. And I think we're seeing the same exact thing with Argentina, right? Where the Cardano Foundation is now sort of on the ground there, making friends, taking advantage of and I mean that in the nicest way, taking advantage of the Latin American community, to sort of build stronger ties in that area. I think that that's going to be the beginning of other countries beginning to look and say, okay, well, if Argentina's done this, they've had positive results, they're able to get all this running. What's stopping us? Why not us? I think we're going to see the same exact thing happen with Mozambique and World Mobile, where Mozambique is going to be the pioneer. Again, they've already been in the spotlight for the Aerostat. This only makes more sense to me. And this is something that the people there on the ground, they're already feeling the pain. So they're looking for a solution. And so I think this is like literally a match made in heaven, where World Mobile's been looking for somewhere to get mass adoption. And you've got people that are hungry for fair telecom services, which is what World Mobile's aiming to provide. So again, shout out to Hydrex for piecing the puzzle here. If it's not Hydrex, it's another community member, doing deep dives. And for me as a content creator, I mean, this makes my life so much easier. I've mentioned this before, but Hydrex, I would love to get you on here. You don't have to show your face. It's okay if you just wanted to speak, but I think you've contributed a lot here, and it'd be awesome to be able to hear a little bit more from you and about just how involved you are here in the ecosystem. So over to you, Rob. Any thoughts surrounding that? Again, we're piecing the puzzles. We're taking different pieces of the puzzle here. Nothing has been made official, but when you're looking at this from the outside in, I mean, it looks pretty clear that they are in need of something new. And with Mickey out there, it sounds like this could be the solution.
Absolutely. And I think you're going to see some very, very quick adoption if people are aware of what World Mobile is doing, what they're offering, and how it can benefit those folks. Instead of price gouging, here's padding your pockets a little bit more with potentially with, again, Aeronode hosting, with some other opportunities within that sharing community. And then also, we've talked in the past about this, but the idea of staking for discounts. If people can be incentivized to hold WMT to stake to save money on their monthly bills, getting discounts on that, there's also a possibility for number go up. So there's potentially some financial benefits as well for people. And I think once people realize, here's a company that is trying to help us keep our resources, help us keep our economy growing instead of taking from us. I think that's going to be a very, very popular option as well. You mentioned Hydrex. Hydrex is a friend of mine. He's a very good guy. We've met in person, and there's some legitimate reasons why he wants to keep his face off of the online streams, but he is very, very smart. He works with numbers all day long, and he is very, very good at deciphering things. I'm a detective. I worked financial crimes. I've done a lot of different types of fraud investigations. So I deal with numbers, and he's on a different level than me. He'd be a fantastic forensic detective because forensic accountant detective. He's very, very good. He dives into stuff, and he knows how to look, and I love getting Hydrex's uh, feedback on things and his perspective on things, because he sees things differently than a lot of people do, and a lot of the things that break, a lot of the ideas that Cal and I run with, come from things that Hydrex has told us privately or has posted publicly, and we kind of see it, and we put two and two together from what we know. So great guy, great. I'm looking forward to seeing him again here soon. We're talking about having the ability to get together here in the next couple of months as well, and so big fan of Hydrex's. I also see my friend Carlo on here, just making a quick comment about tomorrow is the snapshot for staking. So if you're going to get anything in, make sure it's by 6 a.m. UTC tomorrow on the 9th, so that it gets counted towards that snapshot. But then after that, you'll be able to claim for the next few days, claim your rewards and get them sent back directly to your wallet. So if you guys are going to be doing any swapping or buying any WMT and putting it in your Vault wallet, try and do that in the next 12 to 15 hours, so you don't miss that snapshot, and you can get credit for that compound staking there. But so Carlo, thanks for pointing that out. It's nice to see you here in the chat as well.
I think this is a good segue into a few community comments. One actually about the Airnode host and how that works. So maybe Clover, you can tackle this one here, but this is coming in from Youth Promo. Can I sign to host World Mobile in Africa if I live in the USA to invest in the community, not being in that area as a low-end investor? I think that's sort of what you've done, right, with CB. So do you mind maybe sort of explaining how you went about finding a host and how that process works?
Yeah, so interesting question right there. The first batch that World Mobile released was up in Reno, and it was a process where you had to essentially log in to the website. First of all, you needed a whitelist code that you were supposed to get from going to a website. I think it was called join.worldmobile.io. It's still live. I recommend everyone going there, registering, because that's going to give you a whitelist code for batch number 2, actually. So that gives you the opportunity to buy in batch number 2 prior to the public sale. So because I was able to get this code, I was able to jump on early and connect with a host. So I tried, there was, I don't know how many nodes there was. I think it was like around 20 nodes. So I basically messaged almost every single person on there. So some people didn't respond, some people responded, some people I connected with, and CB was actually one of them. And I really liked the way he responded to me. I kind of vibe with him inside the chat. There was like a little back and forth chat right there. So we went back and forth, and you sign a contract that is between you and the host. And at that point, you go ahead and you purchase your Airnode, and the rest is history. At that point, World Mobile, or actually a third party, goes out, installs the node, and we shall see what happens next. But to answer your question, you could also host a Airnode in Africa. Now, not yet, but we have heard from Mickey himself on the previous AMA that was in May, that once batch number 2 comes, quickly following that, maybe within the next few months after that, we are going to start seeing Airnodes being available for people to purchase the same way I did, but in Pakistan and also in Zanzibar. So we're going to start seeing the sharing economy open up the door for everyone. So you can be here in the USA, right? You would want to help underserved communities, just like those you saw in the picture, just like we've seen in Zanzibar, the same exact way I invested up in Reno and helped World Mobile and everyone in these parts of the world grow the network. So yes, absolutely. You can definitely invest in Africa, specifically in Zanzibar to start with.
Thank you there, Clover. We've got Coin Farah tuning in here. Been super supportive over the past couple of streams. Definitely do appreciate you tuning in, and congrats on some of the progress that you and the Nuvola team have made in the past couple of days. We've got some other questions coming in here very quickly I want to touch on. So this one actually came up earlier from Carlo as well. Again, full speculation here. I know that there's been some chats going on in the background about a tease of a partnership. So let me actually bring this up here. This is dealing with this, if I'm not mistaken. So is World Mobile going to be partnering up with the Palm Economy? Maybe it will, or maybe it's just with Midnight and or Singularity Net. I don't know about you guys, but World Mobile's got some pretty distinct colors, and looking at the top left-hand corner of Rob's head there, that seems to match up with whatever we see right there in that blurry circle. So you do with that what you will.
You know it's funny. Like, I'm super blind as a bat, right? So like, whenever I'm not wearing my glasses, like right now, I cannot see anything. So I feel like if I put my glasses on right now, I'm gonna see the World Mobile logo. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to, jump the gun on anything, so we'll let this one be. But Carlo, read between the lines there. I think given the team at Zengate and their relationships with World Mobile, I would not be surprised if something were to come out of this. So that said, again, nothing is official, but definitely do keep an eye out on that. We've got Lord asking about hardware. So are there any talks about World Mobile actually offering hardware, as in like a physical phone or physical device? I want to say this came up a while back when we were discussing like some of the eSIM stuff, and I don't think the team has landed on an official response to that. But I mean, at this point, as they grow, as they expand, as they become a little bit more notorious in the space, I don't see what's stopping them. So I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on that. Again, I think this is just pure speculation because there's no official announcements. But I also know that the actual hardware space is a lot more competitive. So you'd be going against, brand names like LG. You've got Apple. So I feel like it'd be a tough one to crack, but it's no easier than the current problem right now, trying to crack into AT&T, Verizon, all these other brand names there as well. So any commentary from you guys here on this one?
They've said it several times that there's no immediate plans for it. Originally, they looked into the possibility of doing something because they have people like James Tagg, people who have invented a lot of things. James Tagg invented the first touchscreen technology. So they have some very smart people, but like you said, at what cost? Are they? There's a lot already going on there, from high end to low end, and what are they going to bring that's going to be different? Are they just reinventing the wheel? Would they be better served to create the network, and potentially some software for that phone? I mean, we've already talked that in the past we talked about Minutes Network, and with the Unity node, it's going to be on an Android phone, and you're going to flash it. They're going to have their own operating system, their own software, and so you'll be able to use existing technology, and they're updating the software to operate Minutes Network, which will be on the IA chain, which will be part of World Mobile. So I guess at what point is it going to be more worth their time? They have a very small team. People are multitasking all over the place. What's the benefit to World Mobile making their own phone that you can't do with a Samsung or a Google Pixel or somebody else who already has the infrastructure in place to do that? I mean, right now, World Mobile is building software and they're building networks, and they are allowing us to buy the infrastructure. So it'd be a complete change in direction if they are all of a sudden buying the infrastructure to start making phones, that would probably be inferior in some ways, potentially to what even some of the lower end cell phones are doing. So I don't know that there's a clear path to doing that, or even a need at this point. But Mickey said they're open to things in the future if something makes sense and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that logic. I would say it's best to focus on what you're good at now, and then expand as you gain more traction in the community and as you gain more market share in your respective niche. We've got Wesley tuning in here. What's that? Hopefully you're doing okay there on the weekend. We've got Seth Shepard again asking a little bit more about about Cardano development. I am not a developer, but I definitely do speak with a lot of them here. Seth, take a look at the Intersect MBO. If you just Google that, it should pop up relatively quickly, but that'll allow for you to be a core member of the Cardano community. And as things begin to become more decentralized, especially with the chain hard fork, you'll have the ability to contribute directly to some of the core code around Cardano. But if you just want to get connected with different projects as well, that's a really good in to just the community there as well. So again, appreciate you being so willing to participate in and give back into the community. I agree here with Kristen. Those colors do look awfully familiar when we're taking a look at that ZenGate announcement. Another question here from Yorick as we do get ready to wind the stream down. If you guys want to start maybe preparing your last or closing thoughts, that'd be great. How frequently are updates pushed to the web mobile application? I'm super excited to try the new functionality around the scanning capabilities. From what I've seen personally, I want to say it's maybe every few weeks or so. There was a recent update about maybe a week and a half ago surrounding the leaderboards. And so the team is definitely pretty active. We are also waiting on the release of the iOS app, which should be relatively soon. During the last community update, the team mentioned that it was basically at the very end or at the finish line. So I'm ready to get my hands on that. But in terms of updates, the team is on top of that with updates, I want to say, coming out bi-weekly, if not weekly.
Well, and Cal and I are in a private testing right now. There's a few of us they asked to do some private testing for the new scan for points.
For iOS or on Android?
For Android.
Okay.
But it's the overall program though, and how the functionality of the scan for points. And I'm not sure.
Drop it.
Cal?
Give it. Come on. You already opened it up, man. You may as well finish what you started.
I'm not sure you guys are ready for it.
You're not ready for it. It is sick. Holy moly. It's everything that we thought originally before when they announced scan for points and they gave us some ideas. This is before the mapping, before the points, before everything happened. It's everything that we thought it was going to be when we were just guessing, making stuff up in our heads and thinking, man, that'd be cool if they did this. They're doing that. This new scan for points that they're in the final private testing for right now. Holy moly, this thing is amazing, and it's going to be a game changer for everyone. I'm the only reason I'm not scanning for points using that is because they don't translate yet, because they're separate apps, the testing app versus the main one. And I am holding on by about this much to my ranking. And so I want to make sure that I'm getting some real points in right now. But every day I'm doing some scanning with this new app and I mean, we just got it, 4 days ago, 5 days. I mean, it's just real recent, but wow.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it.
Wow.
I can't wait to see it. I mean,
it's wild. I mean, I was gonna say, like, they just listen to everyone's, like, basically input and everyone's complaints. I don't know if there was like many complaints, but many like things that people wanted to see work on the app. And let me tell you, it is exciting. Like, there's so much on that app that you can do now and so many different features, and it just works amazing. Even the beta that we're testing, it works, and it's fun. I can't wait for the community to get their hands on it. I'm super excited about it. I think everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, it's impressive to me. I think just thinking grand scheme of things, how many different things this team is working on in parallel, right? So you've obviously got Scan for Points. We've got Mickey out there in Mozambique. We've got Gregory Gottlieb and all these other members like in different areas. We've got part of the team that was just in consensus. I'm just like, man, this team is literally global and they work like a well-oiled machine, which again, I think has been one of the biggest things that attracted me to this project in the first place was their organization in this space. Crypto is a really, really interesting industry, low barrier to entry for, people to sort of join the space and contribute, but it's very seldom that you find people that are executing at the, what is the word that I'm looking for here, that are executing like at that level. World Mobile has, again, I think for me, shown me that crypto can make it, but we need some of these real world problems like internet connectivity to be solved with crypto for like more people to understand the possibilities of this. So I think the fact that, the World Mobile team has been able to execute so well has paid dividends and it will continue to pay dividends. And I'm excited to be hopefully onboarded into the iOS app here very soon. Let's take the very last question here. Again, I appreciate everybody who's tuned in here. We've got Quentas there in the chat showing some love. I appreciate that very much. We got Sir Peaches coming in here from the cornucopias community. Rob was hanging out with us earlier. I'm going to be streaming with him very soon here, talking about cornucopias, but then just doing regular conversations. So I want to start to bring on more of these founders to pick their brains as to just what they think about things outside of what their expertise is. So definitely keep an eye out for those streams coming out very soon. As we do get ready to wind things down, there is a really good question coming in from Michael Crum. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is there a way to insure an air node in case of damage? For example, like with weather or any other form of damages. So if we're connected to a host or with somebody else in another country, that way we can make sure to protect our investment. Rob, I want to maybe turn this one over to you. I feel like this has come up in times past. Any sort of thoughts on this here?
One thing we know is that Mickey's come out and said a few different times on the different AMAs that they are going to be ways to, within the Airnode website, they're going to have a couple of insurers that are just built in, whether it's boilerplate language, it's like almost autofill, because they're going to be providing insurance options for these things. And so they're working with a couple major companies right now that want to participate in this. So it should be a very, very seamless process for future signups in order to get insurance on there for those very reasons. That they're aware of it. They realize there's some different laws in different states, and so they want to make sure that everything is in place. But yes, they're looking at that, and they want to incorporate that as a part of the Airnode platform, not just in Reno, but worldwide. So part of that's going to be them finding the right companies that are willing to insure internationally. But yes, this is something that they're well aware of. It is a priority for them because they know if you're going to drop $100,000 on a Titan, if you're going to drop $20,000, $19,000 on a 360, some of these smaller ones will be coming out in batch 2. Whether you're spending $700, you're spending $20,000 on something, you're going to want to make sure that you have the opportunity. If it's not something you can just quickly cash flow, $700, maybe you don't need insurance on that. I don't know. But if you're going to be spending a major investment on something, you might want to have that. They're aware of this. They want to provide those opportunities built in. You can always go outside and get your own, but they want to give some bulk rates and some reasonable discounts on those things. And Cal, you probably have had these conversations as well.
Yeah, multiple times there is insurance coming for these air notes. 100%. It's going to be a third-party insurance. There's going to be actually a few options, I believe, that we're going to be able to choose from. But it's important to have insurance for air notes. Obviously, these air notes cost a good amount, and insuring them, I think, is very important. But if you take a look at the manufacturers' websites as well, they do offer direct insurance for these units themselves. So I don't see why not World Mobile also offer them, and it's coming for sure.
All right. I think that will do it here. We've been going for quite a bit here. Coin Fair, I just responded to you there. I'm waiting on Raul. There was a big announcement. We had a meeting scheduled, and he actually pulled the plug at the very last second because that announcement wasn't ready. I'm not sure if it was dealing with staking, but I'm more than happy to have him on the channel for an update on Nuvola. We've got Eric Taylor also tuning in from the Cornucopias community. Appreciate you always dropping by. Appreciate the support. I think that will do it. Let's see here. I think we've got the majority of the questions. Maybe we'll end off on this one here from Touche. Will World Mobile keep its feet planted in Cardano land? Its feet never left. They've been very clear about this. They're a multi-chain project, just like many other projects are officially going multi-chain. They started off here very strong in terms of a community here in Cardano, but as they've mentioned, in terms of tech, they will be using things from other ecosystems as well. But that doesn't exclude Cardano from their mission, their vision, and from being included in what World Mobile has to offer. So keep in mind that their Earth Node NFTs are NFTs on Cardano. And again, I think that the team has never left the ecosystem. Yes, the tech has been brought in from other places, and they've shifted around. But I think as things become more feasible on Cardano, especially when we take a look at partner chains. We'll see, I think, a reemergence in terms of tech between World Mobile and Cardano. So that's it for me there. I do want to turn it over to Reverend Rob, or maybe we go with Clover. Reverend Rob usually goes last. What do you want to do today, Rob? You want to go first? You want to go last?
Whatever you guys want. You're the boss. I'm just here to smile.
Come on. All right, Clover, what do you want to do?
Let's go with Rob first.
All right, there we go.
So, we talked at the beginning about the rebranding of the World Mobile Alliance. The EarthNode Alliance is now the World Mobile Alliance, and it's a place to feel like everyone in this community belongs, a place to get questions answered, get support, get motivation, meet friends, get to a position where maybe there's some opportunity there to collaborate, to participate, to be more involved, whether personally, financially, or just as a part of what World Mobile's doing. And it started at Rare Evo, and we're going back to Rare Evo this year. We were gifted with a booth on the floor at Rare Evo. We are, if you look at the updated map, nothing's been announced yet. So this is very interesting. But if you look at the map, there's a table right in the center of the floor, and you have at the bottom there's six half spots, 10 by 10s. Well, there's a 10 by 20 at the bottom, so 2 booths is Book.io. In the middle, it's someone I'm not familiar with called Sarcophagus, and then us, the Alliance, and then the double booth to the top of this little six pack of spots. It's a 10 by 20, has the World Mobile logo on it. So World Mobile has not confirmed or announced this thing yet, but Rare just put it out this week. World Mobile's gonna have a booth. We are right next to them, and they are obviously being listed here on the website here as a sponsor and supporter. But World Mobile's going to be there. They're gonna have their co-founders that are there. Mickey said on our Alliance space on X last week that he has something really big happening at the same time in Africa. If he can be there for one day, he will fly halfway across the world to be with us for one day in Las Vegas, and then travel back to Africa if he can at all swing it. And he might be able to swing it for more than one day. But Mickey wants to be there. He's sending his team. He's sending his co-founders. The folks from Reno are coming. Cal and I are going to be operating this booth here, and it's going to be big. We just like Cal said, we don't want to give too much away, but I just sent in a big request to World Mobile for some stuff for the booth. We're planning meetups, we're planning hangouts, we're planning all sorts of things where we're going to be doing stuff together. And again, this is where opportunities happen. It's when we're doing things in person, when we're getting to know each other. It's one thing to see each other in a chat, recognize a name or a cartoon picture or some anonymous random moniker. It's another thing when you know what somebody looks like, what somebody's voice sounds like, the inflection, the intent behind things. You can give them a hug, you can have a long conversation, feel like you're getting to know somebody a lot better. Things happen. Web3 is great. It's opportunity for things to happen over long distances. These online meetings, these things that folks are able to do. Farida, I'll tell you right now, I'd be having a great time here if this was just all we ever did. But we've met in person and we've hung out several times, and it makes it more real because now I'm not talking to somebody on the other side of a camera. I'm talking to my friend who's right now on the other side of my country. Same thing with Cal. We are able to talk here, and in fact, Cal and I were on the phone yesterday for a while talking. We're able to communicate, but it's catching up with friends. It's not, hey, there's that guy that I was on a stream with one time. This is my friend, and we're doing things together. We're building. It makes it all the more real. So I really, really want to see people at Rare. I want to see people there. There's going to be so many different opportunities for things. We're going to have hangouts. We have our booth. We're dead center of this floor right here, folks. Everyone's going to be going through us to get to where they want to go. And if you can hover around the World Mobile booth without having to take up space there, because you take up space at our community booth. This is where the community is going to be. That's where the business presentation is going to be. Then right below them, that's where the community is going to be hanging out, hovering, listening to every word, gleaning anything that we can from these guys as they talk to potential investors, to other sponsors, to different things. This is if you want to be a leech, if you want to be a sponge, be there, come join us. It's going to be amazing. But again, this is where things happen. I can't tell you how many dozens of calls and meetings I've had. I have right now multiple business opportunities because of community members from World Mobile that I've met in person. Just last week, I was on the phone for an hour with somebody who wants to work with me and do something specific with World Mobile. That I tell you, last year we were in Vegas, and I was walking by, and I saw this person wearing a World Mobile hoodie. Didn't recognize them. They didn't come to the booth. They were just kind of hanging out with World Mobile hoodie. At one point, I said, "Hey, I'm on my way to go set up for our Alliance meetup. We're gonna go meet over here. I saw your hoodie. I just wanted to invite you in case you didn't know." And the person didn't know. They didn't know that we are having a World Mobile. They just showed up and they had their hoodie because they love World Mobile. They showed up at Vegas. They didn't even know World Mobile was going to be there, and we invited them, and that turned into a friendship. Now it's something where we are actively working together on a business, and that's how things happen. Those random meetups. So those, you bump into somebody, you strike up a conversation, you feel like, I can relate to this person. So this is more than just hanging out. It's more than having a drink or a meal. It's more than getting a free t-shirt or whatever it is. This is an opportunity, and we want people to be there. Cal and I are doing just so much right now, planning and trying to make this so that things fall into place so people have these opportunities. We want you there. We're doing everything we can to make this beyond worthwhile, including bugging Mickey to the point where it looks like they're a sponsor again this year, just like we did last year when they became a sponsor last year. Okay, that was us. That was Cal and me and Theo, and they did it, and they did it for us, and it's been an extreme highlight in many people's lives because they were there. This is what we're trying to do. We want you there. If you go to rareevo.io, use the code EARTH. EARTH will get you 5% off. The hotels, they're discounted there, but it can be pricey. When Cal and I were planning on going to Reno together, I had to back out last minute, but we got an Airbnb in Reno, and it was over 50% cheaper than the what the hotel would have been. And so there's some opportunities. You can meet some friends, share a room, share an Airbnb. There's ways to make this cheaper if you're concerned about the finances. But we want to see you there. Use the code EARTH for 5% checkout. 5% at checkout. We're going to have merch. We're going to have gear. We're going to have all sorts of stuff that we are actively working to make very, very special for this. So, if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to Cal or myself. But more is going to come out as we get closer. This is going to be worth it. This is my wife's coming. This is our vacation for the year. This is the highlight. We're really, really looking forward to it. My wife hates Vegas, but we are looking forward to doing this. And so we build community. We are the community. Mickey recognized it. The co-founders recognize it. I can't tell how many times I talk to these guys and they say, we love what the Alliance is doing. Thank you guys so much, because we're a platform. We want to be here to help launch everybody upwards. We look at people that they for the first time, they jumped on an Alliance space and they never spoke on a space before. And then they become a regular speaker on the space. And now they're ambassadors, guys like Shock, great people that just they found something they wanted to be a part of. They found an opportunity and they've maximized it. And now they're not, dependent upon what Cal or I or Theo or anybody else is doing. They're making their own noise, and they are doing their own, they're finding their own opportunities, and World Mobile's recognized them. And so having that is why we're here, and it's why we do what we do, and we want more of it. We want to do more. We want to see more of you. We want to know more of you. I look at these names here, and some people are using the real names. Kristen, there's a real picture. Eric, these guys, but then some people are cartoon avatars. I have no idea who they are. I don't know that I would jump into business with a guy that their picture of a a lion or a I don't know, polar bear, and the name is Waffle Face. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but I would with a guy that says, hey, this is who I am. Me in real life. We can connect. I mean, it's the real life stuff that makes these things happen. And so here's a huge opportunity to do that. But this is why the Alliance is here, to provide those opportunities, and we want more, and we want you to be a part of everything. So join us, be there, and let Cal and I know what you want to do, if there's ways that we can help support what you're doing. So thank you guys very much. That was a little longer than I meant to go today, but we have a blast. We love this. We become such good friends because of this. Fareed, I cannot wait to see you again in person. This is going to be a great time for all of us, and I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know if you guys can tell or not.
No, we can't tell, Rob. You're not excited at all. No, I am excited. I'm looking forward to it too. And I mentioned this to Amariah and everybody else that I met at Consensus. Yes, you go for the event, you go for, you know, the formalities, but what I enjoyed the most, and what I found to be of most value, were the after events, where I was able to really, you know, step back into just regular Fareed. I'm not there creating or pointing a camera in people's faces, and we're just sitting there having a chat, talking about life, and really getting to know people that are in the community. So I would say it's a huge piece. And as you've mentioned, like we met in person about a year and a half ago, and look where we are now. Right now, we're hosting streams together, and we've got a friendship, and I appreciate that. And so for me, showing up to these events is a must. You know, with or without the camera, being able to connect, being able to network, being able to recognize people from the community, it's a must. So I'm definitely going to be there. And before I turn it over to Clover for his closing thoughts, this is a question that has just come up here from Seth Shepard. How can I get some WMT? So Seth, I've got a pretty quick response for you here. If you head over to CoinMarketCap and you just search for WMT, which is the token ticker for World Mobile as of right now, at least, you'll be able to find the price value. Obviously, you've got the charts and the market cap stuff up here. But if you scroll down, they've actually got all the different markets which World Mobile is currently available on. So if you want to go on a centralized exchange, you can click on that tab right there. You can see that World Mobile is available on Gate.io, HTX, KuCoin, Mexi, BingX, Bitmart, Bitrue, etc. Now, keep in mind that with these types of accounts, you will have to probably do some sort of KYC, not on all of them, but then also keep in mind that technically they are in custody of your WMT. If you're a little bit more techie, right? If you're a little bit more aware, you can jump over to a decentralized exchange directly in the Cardano ecosystem. There's also the WMT, I believe, on BNB and on ETH as well. So you can check out Uniswap, etc. But MintSwap is by far one of the biggest dexes, or the biggest dex in Cardano, where you can go ahead and pick up the WMT token. So if you head over to that particular website, it's a pretty simple user interface. You can pick your ADA, which is what you're going to be swapping for your WMT, and then you can walk through that process there. Alternatively, you can use a DEX aggregator, for example, like DEX Hunter, if you're making a larger purchase, in order to make sure that you are getting the best price. So again, if you have any additional questions, please check out the links down below, Seth. You can join the Discord, you can join the World Mobile Alliance, and you can ask any of us questions about World Mobile as they come to your mind. All right. Last but not least, Clover. I see you got some notes there, man. What's on your mind?
I was just gonna say for them to use the DEX aggregator too, like ADA Markets or DEX Hunter. I use them all the time if I'm gonna buy like a bigger quantity. Instead of going to a DEX myself, I just use one of those so you can get like the best pricing basically. Or you can go to a marketplace like Axo or even Genie Sealed and put up an order there and kind of wait for it to be fulfilled at the price you want, which is another cool thing with Cardano as well. You don't have to rely on those AMM dexes. But yeah, to piggyback on what you guys were saying about Rare Evo, I personally think it's also a very, very good and important event in general, just because you make a lot of partnerships there, and it's a great networking event. I mean, I've met a ton of people when I've been there. I honestly, this is how the alliance started, and I remember wearing a World Mobile hoodie, and I was at some booth. I don't recall which one it was. It was a booth where they were selling frames with NFTs, and these two gentlemen just walked up to me and they said, "Hey, are you Clover?" And I was like, how do you know who I am? You know, like it was just, is it the hoodie? You know, and they're like, no, you have your picture on your profile. You know, and I was like, oh yeah, hi. You know, so it was one of those moments where kind of made me realize that, you know, these events are very, very special. Like, as far as like meeting people and getting to know them on a more personal level. I've met so many people like Earth node operators there. Uh, Now I'm even more excited to, because I know how much our community has grown ever since last year, comparing it to like the first time we went to Rare Evo, where it was like 5 or 6 of us, our first meetup, where Will, who actually works for Well Mobile, pulled out a laptop and he's like, "Hey, I want to like call Mickey right now and have him be part of this meetup." And we're like, "Oh, heck yeah!" So we all like we're sitting down and we're passing this laptop, talking to Mickey, you know, and that's how our first meetup happened. And then our second meetup, it blew my mind. There was like, it wasn't like 5 or 6 people. It was literally like 30 or 40 of us. Like we took the entire bar upstairs in Denver, and I was just, that right there was like a clicking moment in my head, and I was like, whoa, these in real live events like truly have like value in them, you know? So us winning a booth with the Work Mobile Alliance, it's something very special. I'm very thankful to Rare Evil for giving us this opportunity, and I'm really excited to see how many people show up and how many people approach the booth. And I'm super excited to meet some new faces from our community, whether that is from Cardano or from any other chain. I know Rare Evil is like a multi-chain event now, so I'm excited to present World Mobile to other chains besides Cardano as well. I know VeChain is going to be there, and I hear the Algorand fam is going to be there. So I'm excited to potentially show them what World Mobile is gotten and what they're cooking. But yeah, I mean, Fareed and Rob, you guys both mentioned that, you know, the team is truly global, and I can, you know, you can see that basically from, you know, the photos popping up online with Mickey traveling to Mozambique, to at the same time seeing like Christian with Will and Charles up in Washington working with the Mav 100 guys. You know, they're probably doing wonders up there as well. We got James Tag down in San Diego, and we're seeing like articles with him building like AI antennas with the University of San Diego, which is like mind blowing to me, right? Like all of these like things happening at the same time. Obviously, the Rare in Vegas and other things happening that like it's just truly shows how like global everything is in World Mobile. And there's other like very exciting things happening at the moment. One of them would be the World Mobile DevNet, and I know we didn't really touch upon that on this stream, but if you are a Earth node operator, it is advised for you to join the DevNet. There is a upcoming Earth node call that was actually pushed back, and that gets me excited because whenever things get pushed back with World Mobile, I know for a fact that some heat is gonna come out from the team. I mean, we've gotten some teasers on X from Mickey. We've got some teasers on Telegram from Mike. You know, saying, "Hey, we're gonna see June as a super exciting month," right? I mean, we've heard the term deepin, and being in Reno and like seeing like everything that's happening and all of these notes popping up left and right, like I can truly contest and say that we are going to start seeing like the deepin summer pop off, not only in Reno, but we're going to start seeing it in places like Zanzibar and in Pakistan. I mean, if you guys are paying close attention to Pakistan, you're starting to see these notes pop up, like a lot more notes, not just like 5 or 6 like we used to get. We're getting a ton more nodes, and you can see it reflect with the users. Like the daily active users are growing like crazy. I mean, we're gonna soon hit like 100,000 users, which again, it's mind blowing compared to like where we started. Also excited about the app. I can't wait for the community to get their hands on there. You know, I can't wait for the iOS app. Me as an iOS user, obviously, I'm pushing for that. And everything in general, there's like so many things happening in the same time. You know, it's truly an amazing time to be part of the World Mobile community. I feel like we're in a very special moment right now, with things starting to shape. And especially like with the current market conditions and where things are headed. I'm super bullish and excited on this project. So with that said, yeah, I always like thank everyone that shows up to these streams. Fareed, again, thank you so much for facilitating these streams. It's always a pleasure just being here with you guys and talking, and I'm super excited about the World Mobile Alliance rebrand. You know, like this logo that you see behind Rob right there. It's gonna be fun. Just building this together as a community and see where things are gonna land. You know, very excited. So thank you again for having us.
Yeah, thank you both again for your time. We've got Raul de Benedettis in the house from the Nuvola team. They've been kicking some butt here lately. They partnered up with the Minutes Network. They've also partnered up with, I want to say it is Orcfax, Cornucopias, and of course, Iagon, which was their initial partner. So Raul, let's get together. Let's catch up. I appreciate your community always tuning in here. We've got Dummy Hungry and Coin Fair who always show up here and represent the Nuvola team or the Nuvola community, excuse me. So that will do it here for today's stream. It's been a really, really solid one. I think this is the beginning of a new era, and that is the era of DePIN, right? Where a lot more projects are finally tapping into decentralized infrastructure and bringing their communities along for the ride. And World Mobile, I believe, is one of the leaders in that particular sector. And I know that we're all here for the long term. So that said, as always, if you guys enjoy content like this, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. It helps to get this content out, not only to the existing Cardano community, but also to new members outside of Cardano. If you guys want more content like this, breaking down all of the updates and just chatting about all the builders here in Cardano, consider subscribing to DApp Central. If you guys have not already given Clover and Rob a follow on Twitter or on X, please make sure to do so. Check out the links down below. Also left the link down below to the World Mobile Alliance. Next week, they'll be hosting Twitter Spaces or a Twitter Space, breaking down all the updates that transpire between now and then. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks here. But in the meantime, you know, enjoy some of your weekend off. I'm definitely about to do that. I'm going to go cut some grass, touch some grass as well, and just relax a little bit. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in here. We wish you all a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers, folks. Bye-bye.